This is what I'm feeling like. Da, 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 da. Let me tell you what I'm feeling like. Da, 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 da. Yo, yo. What up, though, people? Like to welcome you back to the Keep It a C-Note podcast. As always, I am your boy Brown. To the left of me, we got
Vito.
Vito, what up, though?
I can't call it.
I see you got, is that Kelly Green?
No. It's olive green.
All right, I'm just making sure. Shout out to everybody that's tuned in. If this your first time tuning in, salute to you. Do us a favor, please hit the sub button, like button, and the bell so you can stay notified when we drop new content. Don't be afraid to leave a comment. If you agree with something, you disagree with something, you want to correct one of us on something, or if you just want to call us an Oouuber, let us know in the comments. Just make sure you keep it a C-Note. And make sure you share this video with someone that likes to talk sports and entertainment just like you so that we can all talk that talk together. Funniest thing I've seen over the weekend, shout out to Cam and Mace. It is what it is, their sports show. They recently had Gillie and Wallow on there. Gillie was talking LeBron and Kobe. He had some interesting things to say, and this is exactly what he said.
LeBron James was LeBron James, and that's that. He's the second greatest player of all time behind Michael Jordan. Nobody has been and had more pressure on him to succeed than LeBron James. Nobody. He was on the cover of like Sports Illustrated in like the 10th grade or something, bro. Nobody. There's a difference. When Kobe got drafted, Kobe was great, without a doubt. Top 5. When he got drafted, he came out like number 13, number 14. LeBron James came out number 1, bro. Kobe Bryant averaged like 6, 7 points his first year at 18 years old. LeBron James averaged 20 points, 5 fucking assists, and 5 rebounds. Kobe backed up Eddie Jones, man. No disrespect, Eddie Jones is my homie, my guy. LeBron James wouldn't have backed up Eddie Jones in the 10th fucking grade, man. What we talking about, man? Okay, hold on. Yeah. Hold on. Mm-hmm. LeBron James ain't never walked in a motherfucking NBA locker room and put a Robin uniform on, man. He always was Batman, man. Let's be for real. Kobe was Robin to Shaq's Batman. Shaq won all the fucking MVPs. Shaq won all the final MVPs. Shaq was the one putting up 47 and fucking 27 rebounds and shit like that. Who the fuck are you supposed to win when your center is that goddamn dominant?
And my thing is here, I see Gillie be out there hooping, so I know he still got game. I know he has knowledge of the game. But when he says stuff like that, it's kind of like questioning, making me want to question him. Because first of all, it's different eras. In the 90s, you didn't have dudes coming out the number 1 pick. Would Kobe have been the number 1 pick if he would have came out 2003? Yes, as a high school player. But in the 90s, that wasn't happening. Playing on a team with Shaq, I don't care if LeBron was the number 1 pick or if he was the 13th pick, he would have not only been the Robin to Shaq on that team as well, because Shaq was one of the most dominant players in the NBA, and this is Shaq hitting his prime, but LeBron James would have came off the bench. And it really doesn't have nothing to do with him not having the skill or none of that, but when you look back then, the game was dumping into Shaq. Eddie Jones... When you saying LeBron wouldn't have backed up Eddie Jones in the 10th grade, we all know Kobe was better than Eddie Jones. When he was in high school, he was torching him. That's why he was so frustrated about not being able to start over him. But the difference is Eddie Jones fit in with playing with Shaq. Because when you dump it in and you double team, Eddie Jones could hit the jumper off the spot up. Cedric Ceballos was the small forward. He was still sort of in his prime. He was their leading scorer the year before. They still had Nick Van Exel. So you can't tell me if you have knowledge of the game that LeBron would have came in over there and started and been Batman when Shaq was that guy. And then I'll leave you with this lastly. LeBron did something great, but again, if Kobe would have played on that team, he would have averaged those same numbers that LeBron averaged. LeBron played with the basketball in his hand. Again, he was a high school player, so it's good. But 25-5 is a benefit of him having the basketball in his hand on that type of team. And if you don't believe me, the year before he came to that team, Ricky Davis was the man on that team. Mm-hmm. If you look up Ricky Davis' stats from the year before when he had the ball in his hand every play, he averaged 25-5. So you're not going to tell me that if you swap Kobe out, Kobe definitely, and on top of that, with that team that they had, Kobe would have definitely made a push for the playoffs with Cleveland with that team. That's just me keeping it to see my things that I had on it. You got anything on it, Vito?
Yeah. My thing is, I hear people say, when they talk about LeBron, they say a lot of shit that really don't got nothing to do with actual skill on the court.
Right.
When they say about all this, he lived up to the hype. You don't get extra credit for doing what you're supposed to do.
Right.
You're supposed to live up to the hype.
Right.
And you get hype by giving out some type of work. So in high school, he gave out some type of work, which got him the hype. So he lived up. A lot of people don't live up to it. He did. He was supposed to.
Right.
He got more hype than Kobe coming out of high school because they played better teams. They played Oak Hills and shit like that. And it was more televised. When Kobe was in high school, we wasn't hearing about all this Oak Hill shit and all the Christians in Chicago. We weren't hearing about none of that shit. But for one. For two, when he's saying the shit about Kobe backing up Eddie Jones.
Right.
Eddie Jones was the top defender.
Facts.
He was an All-American coming out of college.
Right.
He could shoot, and he was good for that system, for one. For two, that still was the old school NBA when they were going through the big men.
Right.
When LeBron came in, he still had a good roster when he first came in, but he didn't have no Shaq. He had a Gauskas who was more so of a finesse big guy that you dump it down and he gonna pass it out. He wants you to jump shot.
Right.
And as far as when they talk about his numbers and all that shit, just think about it. Kobe's number 4 all-time scoring, right?
Right.
LeBron's number 1. Think about how many years in Kobe's prime that he played along Shaq.
Right.
Think how many years that them shots is taken away from Kobe, and he's still number 4 on the scoring list.
Right.
And they talking about he was never robbing. LeBron was robbing to D Wade when he first got to Miami.
Tell him, Vito.
I don't know what the fuck they talking about. LeBron was robbing to AD the year they won this championship in that championship series.
That's a fact.
And anybody that would have went to them Lakers when Shaq was there would have been fucking robbing.
Facts.
I don't know what the fuck he talking about.
Facts. Yeah, Gillie might have been a little on. He liked puffing the bud. They got the Mercine.
He loved LeBron. That's all that is.
Yeah, and one more thing to add to that, when you were saying they games LeBron and them was televised and all that a little bit more. One thing about Jerry West, when he sold Shaq on taking that money, he told him, I'm going to pair you with this kid from out of high school, and y'all going to win championship. And last thing, even with Kevin Garnett and all them, a lot of people got Kevin Garnett top 5 big power forward and all of that. Kevin Garnett, when he first came into the league out of high school, he didn't start right away. And he wasn't giving you more. His first year, he averaged like 10 points a game. Even if you look at dudes that came into high school later in the 2000s, besides for Amari, because he got injuries, but like Monte Ellis and all them that became walking buckets, that was later on. But a lot of them guys didn't have a green light.
And I'm going to tell you another reason why he didn't start. Because in that era, that coach did not want to take a chance on the motherfucker come straight out of high school to get in there and not be that guy and lose his fucking job. So, of course, you're going to start with somebody that you already know got game.
Right. And even with the Shaq thing, lastly, I will say with the Shaq, with the MVPs and all of that, that's fine. But Kobe Bryant, if Kobe Bryant didn't have some of them big games, if Kobe Bryant didn't go off in that Game 7 against Portland, Shaq and them don't win that title. And I say this because Penny Hardaway's like my top 3 favorite players of all time. And I believe him and Shaq would have won a ring in Orlando. But I believe if Penny was in Kobe's spot and they was down by like 15, 17 like that, they wouldn't have came back and won that game. So even though Shaq was getting them MVPs and all that, Kobe was getting busy. We ain't going to do that.
And just add on to that. That's true. Shaq did get the MVP. But he got Shaq out of there.
Right.
Shaq didn't want it. They got Shaq out of there for Kobe. And what did Kobe do? He got them MVPs.
Ain't
so
no
that
doubt.
shows he can get them.
Ain't no doubt. And there's been a lot of talk about the Lakers' Mount Rushmore. Some people saying LeBron is on there over Kobe. Some people got Kobe on there. Who's your Mount Rushmore for the Lakers, Vito? Keep it a C-note.
You gotta go Kareem, Magic, Shaq, and Kobe.
Okay, shout out to that. I agree with you. That would be my Mount Rushmore. And even with, I know a lot of people saying LeBron got the title to tie for most all-time titles with the Lakers. Because they tied with Boston when they just won the last title, if I'm not mistaken. And I know a lot of people want to put him up there just on the strength of that. But me personally, I would put somebody like James Worthy on the Mount Rushmore. Jerry West. But I just say James
Baylor.
Because Magic and them got 5 rings, and James Worthy played a huge part in at least 2 of them rings. Them last 2 for sure, and he definitely...
LeBron hasn't been a Laker long enough, is my thing.
Facts. That's another thing. Speaking of the Lakers, let's talk about the Lakers right now. Cam Reddish, he's been in the headlines recently. What is it called? The in-season tournament. He hit a buzzer beater against the Phoenix Suns to win the game. He also previously, before that game, missed the buzzer beater 3-pointer to the Miami Heat. Now, Cam Reddish, he was drafted in the 2019 draft. Same draft as Zion, Ja Morant, R.J. Barrett, Darius Garland, just to name a few. But yet, players voted for Cam Reddish to be the best, to have the best career out of that draft class. What you think? Why did they get it wrong?
I personally believe the only reason why it's wrong is because coaching, ownership, and scheme can stunt a player's growth. Out of all the players coming out of the draft, to me, he has the best all-around game.
Okay.
Even though Zion got drafted for him, Ja, he can shoot better than everybody that was drafted in front of him. He's 6'8".
Right.
He could play D if he wanted to. I think he might also be I don't know what his mentality is in them locker rooms. Why coaches don't be fucking with him.
Right.
Because when he was with us, that was a perfect spot for us. Because that's all we needed, somebody who can get to the basket and go shoot.
Right.
And we got nut ass Tom Thibodeau, who on that old school my way the highway shit. And Cam ain't the greatest defender, and he wasn't getting no time.
Yeah. See, my thing with Cam Reddish is shout out to my folks Mo. When he was still in high school, my folks put me on to him, and he was torching people. But to me, when I was watching him in high school, it's like he didn't have no energy.
Yeah,
he plays.
He do look like
in high school. He played too cool. He be out there BSing.
Yeah. He too cool out there. Yeah.
And to me, it's like he must have played like that for years, and it's hard for him to break out of it. Because I know Ja turned into something crazy, and Zion always been hyped up. But to me personally, I was kind of shocked when they voted him to have the best career. And I might have thought maybe if they meant best careers, he might be on teams that win championships, 12 to 15 points. If that was what they were saying, that I would agree with that. But if they were saying best career, he was going to be the man, I couldn't see it.
Yeah, he remind me of a more laid back Paul George type of player.
That's a less defense, though.
Yeah, less defense.
Yeah, but that also shows me when people always say, oh, you never played in the NBA, what professional sport did you play? The pros get it wrong, too.
All the time.
Because they voted this guy to have the best career, and it looks like whoever put their name down with him, they all got it wrong. I'm just keeping it a C note. But we always talk about young talent, and a lot of times we talk about OKC. But looking at the beginning of the season, the Houston Rockets, they have a lot of talent on their team. And this is just young players, not to mention Van Fleet or Dylan Brooks or none of that. Is all the talent on the Houston Rockets going to hurt their development? Do you think so? Yes, no, keep it a C-note.
Having a whole team of young guys, it definitely could hurt your development. That's why I don't know why they're phasing out the veterans. I guess because the veterans come from the old guard and they more so having it their way, and them coaches ain't trying to have that shit.
Right.
Like to influence the younger players. Like a prime example, Orlando. I remember watching a video with Ross, Terence Ross.
Yeah.
And they were asking him about where he want to get traded to Houston. He was like, he said something along the lines of he'd rather not go to another daycare because Orlando was all young guys.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So he'd rather be on an older team with the veterans.
Right.
So I definitely think all young guys can stunt your growth. That's who you really learning from. Because a lot of them coaches, they good with the X and O's, but most of them can't fucking play.
Yeah, but not just that. Not just with the veteran thing, but I'm just saying when you look at them, they got so many players, they don't even know who they want to be their guy. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Like, I think, first of all, Van Fleet, he done made Jalen Green better. He ain't as wild this year. But then you got Jabari Smith. He's a guy that he should be getting shots.
Green got to be the guy, though.
Green has, but then you got Sengun. Like, they got too many. They need to me, I would say and then you still got pieces like Eason and all of them that's like good role rookies. Like, dudes like him would be cool, but it's like you got all these scorers. You're going to stunt somebody's growth.
If I'm the coach, you know what type of offense I'm going to play? I'm going to play a 3-2. Now, that everybody know that's the defense.
Right.
But what I would do is I would have Sengun and Smith at the corner of the foul line.
Okay.
The guard bringing it up, 2 shooters in the corner. So you can pick and roll, or it don't even have to be the guard. Whoever can score, bring the ball up and do pick and roll left or right with Sengun or Smith because they both can step out and shoot.
Right.
And if not, you can get right to the basket either or kick it out to the corner.
Right.
They making this shit way harder than it has to be.
Yeah,
because a lot of them dudes can score.
They can score, but I think a lot of them dudes is these newer guys. See, a lot of the newer generation guys can't score without having the ball in their hand.
That's true.
To me, that's what's the problem with it.
But don't they got Eric Gordon?
No, Gordon over Phoenix.
He went to Phoenix?
Yeah, shout out Eric Gordon too, because Eric Gordon is like 36 years old now, right? And he has the ultimate green light over Phoenix. I be watching their games. He launching 16, 17 shots a game.
Everywhere he go, he let that motherfucker fly.
But I mean, before he used to hit that joint, he not hitting it no more. That's why I say he got the ultimate green light. Shout out Eric Gordon. But listen, I was recently going back and forth with some folks on Facebook about Gilbert Arenas. And a lot of people are under the impression that Gilbert Arenas, well, some people think the gun issue is what stopped his career. Some people saying if he never got hurt, his career wouldn't have been that bad. I mean, he would have still been hooping out. So we've had a lot of guys over the years that was nice and injuries cut their careers short. So, Vito, I think you said you wanted to do an all-NBA hurt team. Now, these is all guys that was nice.
That could have been the man, and due to injuries, it fucked their career up.
All right, who you got?
Well, I'm going to start out with an honorable mention, and he didn't really fall to injury, more to like an illness. That's DeJuan Wagner.
Okay.
I felt like he could have been something.
Okay.
But, you know, the obvious, Penny.
Right.
Grant Hill, T-Mac. But other two, well, this is kind of obvious, but you young motherfuckers don't know, Brandon Roy. Brandon Roy was that guy. Right. And even my last one is Yao. Even though Yao played about 6-7 years.
Right.
But only 3 years he really shined. When he, like his first couple years, he just was learning the NBA. Then he started doing 25 and 20s and shit like that. But once he got them feet injuries, he was done.
Yeah, y'all would have been one of my honorable mentions. Another kid that would have been my honorable mention since we was even talking high school stuff, Andrew Bynum. Because Andrew Bynum had stuff like when he first came, I don't know if it was I'm not sure of it, but I know he had something. Once he messed his knee up, like he was just totally done.
Bynum was damn near unstoppable. And I would have loved to see what Greg Oden could have been.
Yeah, Greg Oden, another one. But of course, I would have Penny. I would have Tracy McGrady. I would have Brandon Roy, Grant Hill. But I would also have Amari Stoudemire. Because I think after Amari Stoudemire got that first injury, his numbers never was the same. But
and he was more of a jump shooter after that.
Yeah, but that boy was a stone cold monster. Like before Nash, like even before Nash, he was a stone cold monster. So I definitely think if Amari didn't have the injuries, and if he still had the athleticism and then added the jumper, oh my God, that boy would have been unstoppable. That's who I got. IBF, they stripped Terence Bud Crawford of his belt. He's no longer undisputed. Jerron Boots Ennis, new IBF champion. What's your thoughts on all of it, Vito? Keep it a C-note.
This is shocking to me because it usually takes much longer for them to strip somebody.
Right.
For not giving the guy the fight.
Right.
So I don't know what's going on there. Maybe they came to him behind closed doors like, yo, you got to fight Boots next. And he was like, nah. And they said, all right, we taking that belt. But me personally, as good as Boots is, after seeing Boots' last 2 fights and seeing Bud's last couple fights, I don't think Boots is ready for that fight yet.
Yeah, I don't either. Shout out to Boots, though. He from Philly, so shout out to him because he's the champ now. But they were saying basically that he had a window of time to negotiate a contract with Boots, but he can't negotiate it because he got the rematch clause with Spence.
Oh, yeah, that's corny then.
You know what I mean? So they stripped him, but, you know, they let Spence hold the belt for a while. Canelo does whatever he wants to do with the belt.
Charlo wasn't even in the weight class he had all the fucking belts for.
Yeah, so I don't know why they hating on Bud like that. Yeah. That's corny.
Maybe they trying to force that fight.
And even for Jerron Boots, I want to see him be a champion, but I don't want to see him get a belt like that.
I'm sure he doesn't want it like that either.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure of that. But again, shout out to Boots and his.
But then again, I will also add to when I say he not ready. That's just me speculating because styles do make fights.
Yeah, that's
and
a
he
fact.
might can.
Yeah, that's definitely a fact. Now I know you wanted to talk about Biggie Smalls.
Yeah, man.
And you had a question about Biggie. So what's your question?
My question is because I just was like going through a playlist, and every time some Biggie shit came on, I was kind of like skipping past it, and that made me think like, is Big worthy of the GOAT conversation? Because he only had 2 albums, even though they're both classics, and one is a double disc.
Right?
Is he up for the GOAT debate?
Wait, but why was you skipping past this song?
Because some of the shit is like outdated to me. Okay. Like you know how when you go back and listen to some of the old school shit.
Yeah.
And I don't know, just like when some of his shit came on, I just skip past it.
Okay.
Well, it's not the classic Joan, because you know, like certain just songs on his album, the shit,
right?
But certain shit, like I just like the Joan with him and Meth. I skip past that.
To me, I would say you got to put him in a GOAT conversation just because the only reason why he fell off was because of him passing away. Because when you look at it, he got the 2 albums, but then he made Kim a star with his pen. He was writing all her stuff. He was writing a lot of stuff for Diddy as a solo artist. So
Diddy always was trash, though.
Huh?
Diddy was trash.
No, but I mean, they had the hits. Like the Victory joint, Diddy came off on that. Pause.
He ain't even really rap, though, did he?
Yeah.
He didn't really say nothing, though.
I'm saying that's one of his best joints. Biggie wrote it, but I'm saying, but Biggie made Lil' Kim a star.
But it's 2 albums enough for you to be in the GOAT conversation. Now, He does have the underground mixtape joint with the 7 Mac 11s.
Yeah.
About that joint. But
Yeah.
is it enough?
I would say I say it's enough. Now, we just had somebody recently on an interview that was saying, I think it was Whack 100. He said before Pac died, Pac was a living legend. He said before Biggie died, Biggie wasn't a living legend. Biggie became a legend after he died. Would you agree with that?
I could kind of see that because in that short time, you wouldn't believe that Pac was only, what is it, like 20, 23?
25. I thought he was like 26.
Yeah, something like that. But I know you wouldn't believe he was that young with all the shit he put out in that little bit of time that he was out.
And he had the movies.
Yeah,
and everything.
he just had a whole movement.
Yeah. Yeah, so I would agree with Whack 100. A lot of people get mad when that's brought up because I was actually talking to the homies, and it's funny you said the thing about Biggie and skipping some of his joints. Pause, because I swear I was just telling my homies how some of Jay-Z joints are like outdated.
You told me that too.
Yeah, I told you that, but we was just recently talking, and shout out my homie Roddy because he argued me down like, nah, you crazy, you don't. And my thing was, like, they were going for the sound at that time. So even like a lot of stuff, not just Jay or Biggie, but I referenced the other night, I said, if you listen to a lot of stuff Swiss Beats was producing back then, you go back and listen to some of it now, you be like, man, that shit was cheesy. Mm-hmm. Or Timbaland, Pharrell, all the hot producers at the time, is like they were going for a certain sound. Especially if you go listen to like old Cassidy stuff with Swiss Beats, he had a lot of horrible.
Well, me personally, I think a lot of Pharrell shit could stand the test of time because his shit is just so different.
Pharrell got some joints, but he has cheesy joints.
Yeah, they all do.
He got.
Like you said, they were following that sound.
Yeah, he got cheesy joints. That's why I was referencing the other night. I said Volume 1. If you go listen to Volume 1, it got songs on there that's good. But it has cheesy songs on there that was just at the time he was trying to catch a wave. But yeah, that the only reason why I put Biggie in the GOAT conversation is because he didn't fall off on his own. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? If he would have had like, all right, before he got killed, he had a dud album or a so-so album. But that Life After Death kind of changed the game.
Well, I can put it like this. Both his albums are classic. That mixtape, classic. Every feature he on, damn near classic. So I guess he can be in the GOAT conversation.
So yeah, that's what I was about to say. So you got him GOAT.
Yeah, you got to put him in there. Yeah.
All right. What's your thoughts on it though, people? Let us know. Does Biggie qualify to be in the GOAT conversation? Because he has a light resume. Keep it a C note. Let us know. You got anything else, Vito?
Yeah. Because you were talking about people chasing sounds, and it just made me start thinking of producers and shit like that. Now, we had a show about top producers, and we both chose Dre, if memory serves me correctly.
Yeah, Dre might have been my top producer. Him or Premier, they both up there.
But me just recently going back and listening to some of this shit and thinking about who produced certain shit, I gotta put JD in this conversation, man.
Jermaine Dupri?
Yeah,
Jermaine Dupri got work everywhere.
All type of music. Yeah. And not only does he produces, he makes beats, and he writes songs.
Yeah.
None of them other dudes do that shit.
Yeah, Jermaine Dupri definitely is up there.
Yeah. That Confessions, that shit's just how many diamonds? That's JD work.
Yeah, and like again, he does a little bit of everything,
Yeah.
So you definitely gotta put JD up there.
Yeah,
but
he don't get the respect.
Do he got any? Can you think of any memorable beats? I know a lot of people was rapping off the "Hating Your Blood" beat back in the day. I believe that was his beat. Freeway.
Now, as far as the beats, I'm not too familiar about how all the beats he made.
You just as a producer,
in the songs he was writing.
Yeah.
Like that boy, he definitely got some work out there, man. He's like a modern day Babyface.
Yeah.
It's like he's like in a lot of eras, in a lot of music. He got a lot of placements. He got a lot going on out there.
Yeah, shout out JD. He definitely get busy. You got anything else?
No, that's it.
About to wrap this episode up, people. Definitely appreciate everybody for tuning in. Again, if this your first time tuning in, salute to you. Make sure you hit the sub button for us, the like button, and the bell so you can stay notified when we drop new content. Don't be afraid to leave a comment. If you agree with something, disagree with something, want to correct one of us on something, or if you just want to call us an Oouuber, let us know in the comments. Just make sure you keep it a C note. And make sure you share this video with someone that likes to talk sports and entertainment just like you so that we can all talk that talk together. As always, I am your boy Brown. To the left of me, we got
Vito.
Please tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell everybody. Keep it a C note. We holla at y'all. This is what I'm feeling like. Da, 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 da. Let me tell you what I'm feeling like. Da, da, da.